Lily Carter sat by the small kitchen window as morning light spilled across the table. The house was quiet, too quiet for a woman who was about to become a mother. Her hands rested on her stomach, still flat, still hiding the life growing inside her. She smiled softly, but the smile did not reach her eyes. Something inside her felt unsure, like a loose thread pulling at her heart. Lily had always believed life should move gently. She worked as a nurse, helped strangers breathe through pain, and went home each night believing kindness mattered. She married Ethan Carter because he spoke with confidence and promised safety. At first, he was attentive and warm. Over time, his laughter faded, replaced by long hours away and short answers at home. The pregnancy was not planned. It came after a brief separation, a time Lily barely remembered clearly. She had stayed with a friend, cried herself to sleep, and tried to feel whole again. There was one night, one conversation, one moment of comfort she could not fully recall. When she found out she was pregnant, fear wrapped around her excitement. Ethan reacted calmly when she told him, too calmly. He smiled and said they would be fine. Lily searched his face for questions, doubt or anger, but saw none. The silence felt heavier than shouting. She wondered if he truly believed the child was his, or if he simply did not care. Days passed, then weeks. Lily continued her routine, working long shifts, helping patients, and pretending everything was normal. Yet at night, sleep avoided her. She dreamed of standing in a long hallway, reaching for someone she could not see. Every time she woke up, her heart raced, and her pillow was wet with tears. She did not remember crying. Sometimes, a name drifted through her mind like a whisper carried by wind. Noah. She did not know anyone by that name. She tried to push it away, telling herself it meant nothing. Still, the feeling stayed, warm and painful at the same time, like remembering something important that had been forgotten. Ethan grew more distant as her belly slowly changed. He avoided touching her stomach and found excuses to leave the room when she spoke about the baby. Lily told herself he needed time. She always found reasons to forgive. That was who she was. One afternoon, while leaving the hospital after a long shift, Lily noticed a woman standing across the street. The woman watched her closely, eyes sharp and cold. Lily felt a chill, even though the sun was warm. When she looked again, the woman was gone. She told herself it was nothing, just exhaustion playing tricks on her. That night, Lily stood in the bathroom, staring at her reflection. Her face looked pale, older than her years. She placed both hands on her stomach and whispered that she would protect the child no matter what. The promise felt heavy, as if fate itself was listening. Outside, unseen and silent, threads of destiny tightened. One thread pulled with jealousy and anger, another pulled with love and loss. Lily did not know it yet, but her life was already changing in ways she could not escape. The story of her heart had begun long before she understood it, and the first step had already been taken. Claire Moore stood in front of the mirror and barely recognized herself. Her eyes looked sharp, filled with anger that never seemed to rest. Once she believed love meant patience and hope. Now love felt like something stolen from her, something she deserved but never received. Ethan had promised her a future, even if he never said it out loud. She believed his silence meant yes. Claire met Ethan 2 years ago at a work event. He was charming, confident, and unhappy. She could see it in the way he spoke about his life, careful and distant. She listened when others did not. She became the person he turned to when home felt heavy. To Claire, that connection meant more than words. She built dreams around it. When she found out Ethan's wife was pregnant, something inside her snapped. The news spread quietly through shared spaces and careless talk. Claire heard it while standing near a window, holding her phone so tightly her hand shook. Pregnant. The word burned. She felt replaced, erased, like she had never existed at all. She followed Lily for the first time on a cool afternoon. Lily walked slowly, one hand resting on her stomach, her face calm but tired. Claire watched from a distance, her chest tight. This was the woman who took everything. Claire told herself that Lily was weak, pretending to be happy while living a lie. The thought made her feel powerful. Claire began to watch more often. Outside the hospital, near the apartment. Sometimes from across the street, sometimes from inside her car. She learned Lily's schedule, the way she walked, the moments she smiled. Each detail fed her anger. She convinced herself she was correcting a wrong, not creating one. At night, Claire replayed memories of Ethan, his late messages, his quiet laughs. The way he never denied her feelings, only delayed answers. She told herself that men like him needed someone strong, not someone soft and silent. In her mind, the baby became proof of betrayal. Claire did not think of the child as innocent. She saw it as a chain, tying Ethan forever to a life she could not touch. The idea of that future filled her with fear and rage. She began to imagine a different ending, one where the pregnancy disappeared and everything returned to how it should be. She told herself she would never hurt anyone. She repeated it like a promise. But promises grow weak when fed by obsession. Each time she saw Lily, the line between thought and action faded. One evening, Claire stood near the hospital entrance as Lily finished her shift. Rain fell lightly, covering the street in silver reflections. Lily walked past her without looking, unaware of the danger standing so close. Claire felt something dark settle inside her, calm and steady. She followed Lily into the building, her steps quiet. She told herself she only wanted to talk, to scare her, to make her understand. But her hands trembled, and her heart raced with a sense of purpose she could no longer control. Above them, lights flickered softly. Below them, fate waited. Claire did not know that her actions would destroy more than one life. She only knew that in her mind love had turned into war, and she was ready to strike. The pain came suddenly, sharp and deep, cutting through Lily's body as she stood in the hospital hallway. At first, she thought it was stress. Long shifts often left her weak. But this pain was different. It stole her breath and bent her forward. Her hand moved to her stomach, and fear rushed through her like cold water. Nurses hurried toward her, their voices distant and unclear. The floor felt too close as Lily was lowered into a wheelchair. The lights above blurred as she was rushed down the corridor. Her heart pounded fast, not only from pain but from a feeling she could not explain. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. In another part of the building, Claire walked through the entrance with calm steps. Her face showed no emotion, but inside her mind was loud and focused. She wore simple clothes, nothing that would draw attention. The hospital smelled clean and cold, and the sound of footsteps echoed softly around her. She felt ready. Lily was taken to a quiet stairwell area while doctors prepared a room. She leaned against the wall, trying to breathe slowly. Her vision swam. That was when she saw Claire. The woman approached with a look of concern, her voice low and steady. She said Lily looked unwell and offered help. Lily was too weak to question it. The moment happened fast. Claire's hand pushed hard. Lily lost balance and fell down the steps. Pain exploded through her body as she hit the floor. Her scream echoed once, then faded. Claire stood still for a second, watching, her chest rising quickly. Then she turned and disappeared into the crowd. Lily lay still, blood spreading slowly beneath her. Voices returned, loud and urgent. Someone shouted for help. She was lifted onto a stretcher, her body shaking. As doctors worked around her, Lily slipped in and out of consciousness. Sounds blurred into silence. In the darkness, Lily felt herself floating. Memories mixed with dreams. She saw a long hallway again, brighter this time. At the end stood a man she could not see clearly. She felt safe looking at him. The name rose from deep inside her chest and escaped her lips. Noah. Doctors fought to save the baby, but it was too late. When Lily finally woke, the room was quiet. Her body felt empty and heavy. Ethan stood near the window, his face pale and distant. When she asked about the baby, he said nothing. The silence answered her. Tears rolled down Lily's face without sound. Her hands moved slowly to her stomach, now flat again. A deep ache filled her chest, stronger than the pain in her body. She felt broken, as if something important had been taken from her forever. Police came and asked questions. Security cameras showed unclear images. Number 1 mentioned Claire's name. Lily tried to remember the woman's face, but everything felt foggy. Her mind protected itself by hiding the details. At night, alone in the hospital room, Lily stared at the ceiling. Grief pressed down on her, heavy and sharp. Yet beneath it, she felt something strange. Pull. A quiet connection that refused to disappear. The name Noah returned again and again, not as pain, but as comfort. Outside the hospital, unseen forces shifted. One life had been lost, another had been changed forever. And somewhere a man woke from a nightmare, holding his chest, unaware that his soul had just felt a wound it did not understand. Noah Brooks woke up suddenly in the middle of the night. His chest felt tight, and his breathing was fast. Sweat covered his face, even though the room was cold. He sat up in bed and pressed his hand over his heart, confused by the strong pain inside him. It felt like loss, deep and real, though nothing in his life explained it. Noah lived alone in a small apartment near the city park. He worked as an architect and spent most days drawing quiet buildings meant for calm lives. He had always felt different from others, as if something important was missing. Relationships never lasted. People came and went, but the empty space stayed. The nightmare returned when he closed his eyes. A woman cried somewhere far away. The sound filled him with fear and sadness. He whispered her name without knowing why. Lily. The word felt natural on his lips, like it had always been there. Days later, Noah tried to return to his normal routine, but nothing felt the same. The city seemed louder. His drawings looked empty. He found himself walking without direction, pulled by a feeling he could not explain. His feet carried him toward the hospital, though he had no reason to be there. In the hospital garden, Lily sat alone on a bench. Her face looked pale, her eyes tired and hollow. She watched the trees move gently in the wind, lost in thought. When Noah saw her, his heart stopped for a moment. The pain returned, sharp and clear. He did not know why he walked toward her. He only knew he had to. Lily looked up as he approached, and their eyes met. Something passed between them, silent but strong. Neither spoke at first. Words felt unnecessary. Noah finally asked if she was all right. His voice was calm, but his hands shook slightly. Lily nodded, though tears filled her eyes. She said she was trying to breathe again after losing something important. Noah understood without being told. They talked for only a few minutes. About the weather. About the quiet garden. About nothing that mattered, yet everything felt heavy with meaning. When they stood to leave, both felt the same pain, like saying goodbye to someone they had just found. That night, Lily dreamed again. This time, the hallway ended with a door. Behind it stood Noah, clear and real. She woke with tears on her face, her heart calm for the first time since the hospital. Ethan visited less often. When he did, his words felt empty. Lily saw him clearly now. Whatever tied them together had broken. She did not feel anger, only distance. Noah returned to the garden the next day, hoping to see Lily again. She was not there, but the bench still felt warm, as if she had just left. He sat down and closed his eyes, holding the feeling close. Neither of them knew the truth. Neither knew that their souls had been connected long before pain entered their lives. Fate had kept the secret, waiting for the right moment. Far away, Claire watched the hospital from her car, unaware that her actions had awakened a bond stronger than her hatred. Destiny had shifted. Love, though wounded, had begun to rise. Time moved slowly after the loss, but it did not stop. Lily returned home from the hospital with a quiet heart and tired eyes. The apartment felt empty, filled with memories she could not escape. Ethan stayed for a few days, then fewer hours, then almost not at all. When he was there, he avoided her eyes. There was nothing left to fix. Lily spent long mornings walking through the park near her home. She tried to breathe through the pain, one step at a time. Grief stayed close, but it no longer crushed her the way it once did. She felt stronger, not because the pain was gone, but because she had survived it. One afternoon, she saw Noah again. He stood near the lake, watching the water move gently. When he turned and noticed her, surprise filled his face. Followed by relief, they smiled, small and careful. This time they sat together without fear. They talked longer than before. Lily spoke about the baby she lost. Noah listened without interrupting. When she cried, he stayed. When she fell silent, he stayed. She felt seen, not judged, not rushed. Something inside her began to heal. Days turned into weeks. They met often, always by chance, always at the same places. The connection grew naturally, without promises or pressure. Neither asked why it felt right, they simply accepted it. Meanwhile, the truth began to surface. A nurse remembered seeing Claire near the stairwell. Security footage was reviewed again. This time, the image was clear enough. Claire was questioned. Her calm broke. Her lies fell apart. When Lily learned what happened, she felt shock, then sadness. Anger did not come. Claire's actions had taken something precious, but hatred would not bring it back. Claire was arrested, left alone with her choices. Ethan tried to apologize. He spoke of mistakes and confusion. Lily listened quietly, then told him goodbye. There was no fight, no tears, just an ending. She felt free for the first time in years. One evening, Lily and Noah sat under the stars. The air was cool, the world calm. Lily placed her hand over her heart and spoke softly. She said she often dreamed of a child smiling, surrounded by light. Noah felt his chest tighten, tears filling his eyes without reason. He did not know the truth, and neither did she. But their souls understood what words could not explain. The bond between them was real, strong, and unbroken by loss. Months later, Lily stood in the same hospital garden where everything had changed. This time, Noah stood beside her. The pain was still part of her story, but it no longer defined her. Love returned quietly, not loud or demanding. It came with patience, trust, and shared silence. The soul string that once pulled through pain now rested in peace. The child they lost lived on in them, not through blood, but through the love that brought two broken hearts together. Fate had taken much, but it had also given something rare. A love that survived loss and a future built on truth.